Hey guys, me again with another YouTube video. Today we're going to be taking a look at something that we've looked at before quite a bit of times, but as time goes on, you tend to do things in new ways that are better than before. A good example of this is actually what you're seeing on screen right now is my background, the SVD. My old SVD was horrible. It was just my AN94 receiver extended out with a bigger magazine and a different stock and a different foregrip. It looked really bad. And then to get better means you need to go back and redo things in better ways. And something that I've been thinking about for the longest of times now is this AK that's chambered in 5.7 by 28 millimeter and takes P90 magazines. And it's funny I say this because we're looking at Brick Armory's FNPX94 right in front of us, so that's really funny. So you can see that my older style P90 magazines they're P90 magazines, but they're not P90 magazines. They look pretty terrible. So a little while ago, I was working on my GIGN operator loadouts, and I realized that one of the huge downsides to my P90s is the magazine. I need to redesign my magazine to be better. And so I set out to do that. I started with my P90 and I finally finished. I made a P90 magazine that I liked at the time. I thought it was really good. So this is the AKP-90 Alpha Edition, but there's a couple different story elements going on here. So originally I was like, well, I really like the AKP-90 Velociraptor, the integrally suppressed 5.7 by 28 one. That's inspired by the Velociraptor that Ackley's Defense, I believe is the name of the company going on. The guy from Red Jacket, his name is Joe. The only guy from Red Jacket to go on with no problems after the whole Red Jacket debacle. He has a integrated suppressed AK that he's trying to bring to market, and I really liked it, so I used it here as the front end for my AKP-90. All this is my AKP-90 Velociraptor edition with the new P90 magazine that I liked at the time. And that's okay, but it's not new. I kind of want to design something new, better, more innovative. So I went ahead and I thought about it and I said, well, what if we took an AK-108 with its counterbalanced recoil system, something that we've talked about it before, and modified it to take P90 magazines. And that's what I did. So it's still an AKP-90, but now it's counterbalanced, which is cool. And instead of being integrally suppressed, we just have this beefy muzzle brake at the end of it that AK-74s use. And then I did a custom handguard extension and I called it a day. I thought that is what I liked. And then I kind of thought about it and I said, I don't know if that's necessarily what I want. It's too basic. I need to modify it even more. So I kept my magazine in the same spot, and then I took and I did a custom top handguard with rails. And well, it's custom, but it's not at the same time. It is, but it isn't. So this takes from my Velociraptor, the front end, but I removed the suppressor from it and got rid of it. I kept the counterbalance recoil system of the 108. Did a custom this portion of the top handguard, but left this the same. So it's a tri-rail over here now. And then I extended the handguard way out and then added this portion down here just as the front locking surface for the P90 magazine. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, I like that a lot better than the other ones. So if you want to see all three of these put together, you can see how we went in steps. So this is what it looked like to begin with. Really nothing new other than putting a magazine on it. I want to innovate, do something new. So I went to this. Okay, I built something. It doesn't look like I want it to. Let's move on. And we went to this. And I said, yes, I like that. That's way cool. I love the way that looks. And then my different username came around. And he did the stream one day. He was working on his Lego P90. And he needed help trying to fit his 5.7 bullets into a 5 stud wide magazine using very particular techniques. And throughout the stream, I was trying to help him out. He eventually found his own way to do it, and I take no offense, as the way that he did it is still brilliant. It definitely to scale and more accurate than the way that I did it is. But the way that I came up with it was just slightly different. And at the time, when I finished making the mock-up for it, I basically realized, well, I have the mock-up for it. I might as well just make the rest of the magazine. And so I did, and that became another version of the P90 that I don't think I've released yet, but we can take a look at. So that became this new magazine right down here is what we ended up with, because it's a lot more see-through. You can see a lot more of it now, and I'm a lot more happy with being able to see through it like that. So I kept it. And then I thought about it and I said, well, if I was this elite alpha unit operator, chances are I've already got my recoil control down pat. I don't need a counterbalanced recoil system to assist me with hit probability. But a suppressor, if I'm trying to be covert, if I'm on the alpha team for Russia Special Forces, I probably would need a suppressor. And the more volume that a can has, and if we could entirely suppress an AK so that you don't hear the piston pop, that would be really helpful. So I took the front end off of my AKP-90 Velociraptor and I slapped it on here, and I made it as long as a normal AK-108 and called it a day with the new magazine. And this is what we have. I changed the color to a more pink color because, I don't know, I like the pink color, but this is now what we have. So the final version of the AKP-90 Alpha Edition is now another Velociraptor in pink, and this now has my new magazine in it. So we can actually close out of this, and now with all of our renders out of the way, we can take a look at this inside of LDD itself. Again, I apologize because you guys are going to hear me click on the trackpad as we go around, so I apologize. A lot of this is stuff that we've talked about before. I'm recycling parts going forward, so if you guys want to hear more about the stock or the base of the AK receiver, you could go discover like 400 other videos that I've talked about all this stuff. It's no big deal. Just go dig around on my channel, you'll find it. Here we have a sight from the P2, which is a My Different Username contest entry weapon. He designed the sight, and I built it myself. By design, I mean he did it like digitally through art on the computer, and then I built it myself here. So this front end, most of it was in my AKP-90 Velociraptor video, but it's been extended. Again, no big deal, just small details here and there. It's basic, really. There's really nothing to talk about other than a lot of this is 3 studs wide, bracket, and plate built. Pretty basic stuff. The actual magazine itself locks into place back here and up here. The lore in-universe version of this would use both the P90 mag release and this AK paddle release, kind of like an MP5, how they do this hybrid system where you have the paddle style magazine release, but you also have like an AR-15 style magazine release. That type of system would have been incorporated here, but I didn't have the room for it. So I just left it as the AK style magazine release, but in universe it would be both here. So we have a standard 50 round P90 magazine, and as you can see, part of what I was trying to do while helping My Different Username was figure out how to get this so you can see through it really, really well. And this is what I came up with. So I decided, well, since I've finished it, I might as well use it on models and stuff. So this is where we ended up. Pretty basic stuff. Only a few of this would be actually illegal, and it's these doors that cover up down here, but that's no big deal. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It looks really, really good, and I'm really happy with it, so I would keep it like that. There are 50 rounds of 5.7 by 28 in here with the blue tips on them. There are also some ones with red tips. I went with the blue ones because I thought they looked better. And you can see that there is a spring in the back of here. So this is all real basic stuff. I've gone over most of this before. I just kind of wanted to show you guys that there is more updates coming to the AKP-90. There's not just... once I get my brand new P90 magazine, I'm not going to go back and update everything with a P90 now, because the AKP-90 has been a brainchild of mine for a long time now, and I honestly would love to see After the AK-50 gets built by Brandon, I would just love to see like a 5.7 version of it built by him, because I don't know, 5.7 is a really cool round. I don't think it gets a lot of credit because a lot of people think it's just an oversized 22. That could be debated back and forth, but 50 round magazines and the style of magazines is really neat because there's no huge magazine sticking out the bottom of the gun down here, which means you can get really low to the ground with this, and I like that about this. It's something that was more or so desired when you're doing like trench warfare, but it's still nice to be able to get low to the ground when you've got bullets flying over your head. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, here's an AKP-90 right now. This is really interesting how this is working out. So you can see kind of the differences here between the two of them. Real basic stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. I'll see you guys later in another YouTube video.